grades will not take you anywhere. And when I say this, I'm speaking a lot to the African continent, where our grades and the young people we have, girls, boys, grades are still important. The most critical thing today is, what can you do? Google knows everything. It's no longer what you know. Because if I want to cook any Nigerian dish, as long as it is online in YouTube, I can do it. If you want to cook anything from Kenya, you can do it. And so many things we know. If you have candle wax on your dress and you want to remove it, Google it. So what you know is no longer important because Google knows. And even our own children, when you ask them questions, they are telling you, Google it, mom. You don't have to ask me. So what are we left with? Being an almost entirely academic continent, we are left with the hunger or the desire of creating skills. What do our young people know? What should they know? And what should they do? What is important is, what are they able to do? It is a point where if you can make a stool or a cooking pin and sell it, it's more important than if you just have a lot of theories in the head. And what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to belittle the whole issue of education and knowing. It is very, very important. The training and focus that we have in ISOC is a lot to do with bridging that gap between academia and the workplace, and especially in technology. I will share with you a small video that touches on work that we did last year and work that speaks to that gap. The employers are saying, yes, we have a lot of people, a lot of young people who are educated, but they are not able to do anything. And they are saying, where can they get the workers? This is a cry, which I know is not in Kenya, it's not in Africa, actually it is across the world. We need people who are skilled. And the easiest skill that we are dealing with and that is most needed at the moment is the skill in technology. As a professor has just said, there are so many disciplines and areas where these skills can be built based on all the ongoings in the world, in the tech space. And with that, we can be able to look at several things that would touch on gender, that would touch on girls, that would touch on employment, and would touch on a lot of things that plague us. I don't want to repeat what others have said, but I must also underscore items they've said. For example, Mercy has just said, be known, what you are doing, be known for it. And are you the point of reference? Are you the person who can be referenced? If people think about software development, if people think about networking, we saw that plaguing the continent in 2020, 2021. Everybody was crying for connectivity. We still are crying about connectivity in the continent. Who can connect us? Who are the skilled people who can connect us? To connect us in our homes. I'm making this call from my dining room. I work for a global organization, but I work from home. And everybody working for ISOC is working from home. And it is not the only organization. So many people are working from where we are. Are we taking advantage of this as Africans? To take advantage of the global stage that has presented itself, that you don't have to travel miles and miles and say that we do not have the air tickets. But the jobs that are there internationally, we can now tap on them. So I saw an advert recently, before I go on to my video, which is a short one, that it was about a beer that was being advertised. And it was saying most of the people drink to fit in. And this one, it was Lawson, and they were saying, I drink Lawson to stand out. In technology, we need people who can stand out and be known for something. Do your small little thing. Stand out and be known, be the point of reference, be the new address for a particular skill. With that, let me just share something, because last year I worked with some girls in Kenya, and because you are Internet Society, you are a chapter of the Internet Society, This is something that we can do in several other places. We are doing this in Bolivia, Pakistan, Morocco, and also Zimbabwe. And I want to give you a challenge in that as a chapter. This is something that you could also try out. So let me just play this. So where is it? It is these screens nowadays where you have so many tabs. Give me a second. I will get it for you. It quickly tells us exactly. Okay. Sorry. It's that moment of anxiety when we are usually waiting for something to come through, but I'm almost there. It is coming. I'm now clicking on it. Yes, I have it here now. And I will play it for you. Yes.
Networking is my passion.
Sorry, and then I go to share because you cannot see unless I share. I hope now you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, this is one of the courses that we are offering. It's a short one. It's just for 3 minutes.
Networking is my passion, so that's what I'm specifying on right now. I did it in college, but most of it I did it as theory work, though I had learned some different type of cables and what, but there was not a practical lesson learned. So now this is my chance now to get the practical skill.
When I got called up for this chance to do some training in networking, my first thought was finally get to see these things up close and personal, and to train with people who've been in the job market. They've done networks, they've got some other experience in other areas. I thought maybe this was my chance to gather as much knowledge as I could, and now I get to see it.
When we came here, we were placed at the hardware and maintenance department. So it has been an advantage to us that we are doing networking, and on the other side, we are being oriented about hardware maintenance.
I'm really grateful to ISOC Kenyan chapter for giving us that training, because when you see things, everyone's just mentioning networks, network this, network that. You have to have a Cisco certification, Huawei certification, to be able to see these things up close and personal, to be able to work with that equipment on the ground. I think this internship has met my expectation from that aspect, because I can't say I am the same way I was when I left school.
Seen a great transformation over the entire period of the program. That is the training period and also the attachment period, and now they're back. I remember during the orientation, most of them were very green. They didn't know what to expect and what they're going to learn. But the most amazing thing about this entire process has been the fact that we started with 25 students and we've been able to complete with all of them. 25 have graduated today.
I'm so excited and I'm so happy that I got to do this with under ISOC. This is something mind-blowing for me. And as I go out, I feel so encouraged and courageous now to go do this. I think one thing I learned under ISOC is that you gain confidence, whenever you gain skills, you gain confidence whenever you expose to the world that you've always wanted.
A bit frozen.
In the technology, it feels so great. It feels so great that some people are thinking about the girl child, because not many ladies are born in the technology world, not many ladies are born in the world of networking, but the moment you're given that, it feels so great. And one thing I would love to encourage ladies out here is that there are people thinking about you. ISOC is thinking about you, and do not give up on yourself.
Okay, so colleagues, I just wanted to share that with you because that is one of the things that I'm passionate about. The whole issue of equipping, especially the girls. As we do our training, we have a very low percentage of girls who are fitting in tech. And these girls also face challenges when they go out there and try to implement. They will even be asked questions, will the network work? Will the connection work?
Wow.
Why? Because it is being fixed by a woman. And we have to reclaim our space, not with talk, but with practical skills that girls can go out, wire a house, make a connection, and they leave people using Zoom and all the other things that they would want to use. Allow me just to quickly mention this because I would not be able to stay with you for so much longer. But I think if I could also quickly share a quick presentation on what we are doing in ISOC. In ISOC, we are offering up to 15 different courses, and these courses are tailored a lot on connectivity because we are about the internet. They are tailored on connectivity, they are tailored on advocacy, and they are also about online safety, something also very important in our continent. Somebody talked about data. Data is the new oil. We need to understand how our data on the continent is also being used and is benefiting other people. Yes, we can talk about being productive, being consumers, but I want to say that our data is also driving the globe because we don't know where our data sits, we don't know how it's made use of, and all of these are areas that we need to have skills and to educate our communities. And I think with that, I would want to stop so that I do not muscle up everybody else's time. Thank you very much, Chinwe, and thanks everybody.
Thank you. Fantastic event, fantastic program. I started laughing when you said, will it work? You know, I've been in that situation practically. I'm a network engineer too. So sometimes people come to the site, they don't even believe it's a woman who is a network engineer. So when they get there, they ask me, so where's the engineer, you know? So I'm like, okay. And sometimes you try to do some work and they tell you, no, leave it, call somebody else and all that. And you're like, no, I'm technically trained to do this. And I think that that's another conversation we'll have one of these days and ask questions around, will it work? Why will it not work? Is it because it's a woman fixing it to work? All right, so I know that Kelechi has had to drop off. She did say that she was going to drop off. She has another engagement, but Esther, just stay on the call. We have less than 30 minutes to go. We'll finish on time. ISOC Nigeria, we'll start on time and we'll finish on time as much as we can. The conversation can continue even after now. We'll share your contacts and a few other things. So, Madam Nena, I think that I want you to speak just a few minutes about One Web Foundation, that's 1, 2, and the conversation, the work around getting more women. And like Esther said, we're reclaiming our space, not with words, right, but with practical skills. So Madam Nena, can you shed light on that? What are the things happening? You know, there's a lot of work happening on the ground to ensure that we reclaim our space with technical skills on how are we being reskilled and retooled to be able to stand and also speak and even on the global space. So thank you very much, Madam Nena. I'll give the floor to you to quickly make your remark. Thank you.
I think she dropped off the call. She has other engagements.
Fine. Okay, that's it's expected. This season it's IWD week, so there's a lot of things happening. Okay, so I'm back to you now, Madam Wura. You heard a few things. Some of the things are okay. I think that before we take Wura, can we take question and answers? Do we have anybody who wants to speak their question now? Some of us have typed our questions. Do we have anybody who wants to verbalize their question and ask the panelists, any of the panelists, even if it's for Kelechi, you can take your question down. And ISOC, when we're doing our online trail of the event, we can put it there. So any questions, please just raise your hand. We will call you if you want to speak or you want to say something. Please just raise your hand. You will be called to ask your questions before we call Madam Buki to also tell us. ISOC Nigeria also has some things that we're doing in conjunction with, of course, ISOC Global in terms of learning communities, because all the speakers who have spoken have shed light on the importance of having a learning community, a functional learning community. So do we have anybody who has a question, please? Do we have a question? If you have a question, please raise your hand. We will call you to speak. But if you don't have any for now, I think that Madam Bukola, please, you can go ahead with telling us what ISOC Nigeria, learning communities, ISOC Nigeria example. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chinwe, for this opportunity. And I want to say a big thank you to all our panelists. And thank you so much, Esther, for all you do with the ISOC Learn program. Yes, for Internet Society Nigeria, like we do encourage our members to take advantage of the ISOC Learn courses. And over the years that I've been volunteering as a tutor, I've seen increase in number of our members that have been taking the courses. But I also want to tell those on this call, if you are yet to take advantage of some of these courses, we've been having DDCN, which means designing and deployment of computer networks, which is a course with Internet Society. It's more of networking, building networks from the scratch. And also we have the one network operations too. It gives a combination of both some of server administration and then networking and all those things, working with VNS combined in these courses. It's a very good one that I would encourage those that are here to take it to go ahead and do. And then we have the advanced stage of the network operations 2.0, which if you gain the experience, you have the experience already, and you've done the first course, which is the network operations, you can go ahead and do the second stage. It's some of the things that we do encourage our members in Internet Society Nigeria chapter to do. And also with the video Esther just shared, I think, Esther, I will reach out to you on how we can have something like that in Nigeria with Internet Society Nigeria chapter, because I see it's really hands-on. It goes beyond being the virtual one. Now it's more like getting the hands-on experience on the program, and it's more like internship, which I think is something most of our members will look forward to. And of course, we have other organizations we can collaborate to get this done. I can talk of the NG-NOG, the NOG for Nigeria. We can collaborate on this. So Esther, I will definitely reach out to you on this. So for all our members, if you are here to take advantage of the learning course that Internet Society has made available, because there's always certification after all these courses, please go ahead and do so. And of course, I will after this webinar with Chinwe, will send out an email with detailed information on how you can do this. So I will encourage us all to take advantage of it, because it's something we have started, but I know most of us in the community are here to take advantage of this. So this is what I have to add to it. And I don't know, the General Secretary, Akimbo, is also here, which I know is also conversant with the learning platform. I don't know if he has anything to add. So Akimbo, I would love to pass the mic over to you if you have one or two things to add to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Bukola. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. But the truth is, you said it all, and today is we're celebrating our women. So over to you back. Thank you, man.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Well, let me release the mic back to you, Chinwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Buki. Thank you, Mr. Akimbo. Engineer Kunle also had to drop off. He had other things to do, but thank you, Akimbo, for staying on the call. I know I mentioned that TJ also was on the call earlier. So back to our panelists who are still on the call. We have listened, we have seen what women are doing around the world to ensure that things are done. I would like to come back to us now, to Ura, to Mercy, and to Dr. Daramola. So now that everything, the cards have been laid on the table, what can we begin to do immediately? Like Madam Buki said, she will reach out to Esther Kioni concerning how we can replicate what we just saw in that video. But for the rest of us, what can we begin to do as software developers, as cybersecurity specialists? What can we begin to do now so that the next year we're celebrating International Women's Day, we can have a feature as part of the event to say, in 1 year, this is what progress we have been able to make in 1 year practically. What do you think we should begin to do so that we go from just consumption to even attempt to start to produce? So, Madam Ura, practical steps. What do you think we can begin to do at policy level, at technical level, and even at grassroots level? What can we begin to do immediately to ensure that the skill gap, will be closed and that the technical community will grow even with women? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chinwe. A whole lot has been said, and I like the emphasis on how much capacity we need to build, speaking to those who want to come into the tech community, speaking on how they need to build capacity, learning from Kelechi and Mercy's example. Now, I'd like to speak to something that Nina had mentioned, talking about vertical and horizontal connections and collaboration. I think that's very, very important. So one of the things that we tell those who are coming into the industry is to leverage on the power of mentorship. That is very, very important. Identify somebody that is going to help hold your hands. Very, very important. I would also like to speak to horizontal connection. There's so much that we can learn from ourselves. There's so much we can learn from people who are on the same level with you, as much as you want to reach out to somebody who you think is way higher than you that you want to learn from. There's a whole lot. A good number of times we seem to overlook how much our immediate community and those amongst us can offer. Like Kelechi mentioned, I remember when myself and you, Chinwe, were teaching her basic HTML and how to code and all of that. But one of the great opportunities that I have had in my career, Kelechi randomly shared a link to me, and it was a really life-changing moment for me. So learning how to leverage some of these connections, and it's a really great way for us to move forward. And another thing I would like to mention is as we grow up the ladder, I know I have listened to quite a number of people speak here. I know there's been quite a number of us who have been in the industry for an extended period of time. We also have a responsibility to open up pathways for more people to come on board. In the video that we watched, I saw something on internship. I think that's very, very important for us to be able to achieve gender equity, which is one of the pillars that the International Women's Day Global Team rests on. We need to open up pathways for more people to come on board. Yes, as we're talking about developing skills and building our capacity, people need an avenue, an environment where they can actually implement and practice what they have been learning. And sometimes these things are overlooked. If we don't use our voice in rooms where we are, to talk about how we need to bring more people on board, how we need to give people an opportunity. There's something I used to do when I have young people who I'm teaching something or who are learning. I try to pass down some jobs that I honestly do not have the time to be able to attend to at this point. And that's giving quite a number of people their first industry experience and just expose them to what's working in the tech industry as a whole. It's one thing to learn, it's another thing to be able to practicalize it and implement it. So I'm just going to say that we should take this very personal, take it very personal and see how you can actually get one more woman, one more lady for us to be able to have a different number next year. I think we only recorded a 2% increase over the past 3 years on the number of women in the global tech workforce. So for us to be able to record better numbers next year, let's take it personal. Let's see how we can actually create more avenues and pathways for more women to come on board. And speaking to the conversation on moving from consumers to producers, I would say we should look within our environment and see what pressing problem we need to solve. I mean, if you look at the fintech industry in Nigeria, it's amazing the number of things that are coming out of it. So let us look at our immediate environment and and see what problem really affects us, and see what problem we need to solve. And there used to be a thing, it's not really a thing right now, but I would like to encourage collaboration. If you identify something that you want to solve, I mean, Chinwe is already talking about, I saw her talking about collaborating with Nina and some of the work that she said she's doing. Let's enhance the power of networking and collaboration. Let's speak to one another about things that we want to do and see how we can together work on these ideas, and it will help us to achieve greater impact and have a wider reach. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Rora. Thank you. You said so much. You said so much, opening up pathways for more women, more like women, supporting women practically now, not on Facebook and not on Twitter. Thank you so much. Okay, so Mercy, what would be your take on, as a developer, how would you practically think that we... Yeah,
okay, so being someone that people gave me a chance to grow, and I've experienced it firsthand, someone handing down support to you and giving me a chance to grow. So bringing it down to the grassroots, I think one of the ways we can achieve what we just saw in, I think it's Uganda, is we should identify tech hubs that we can work with, because some of those hubs, they already have the setup, something like a computer, they already have an internet connection, and they already have some resources that people can just go in and start learning. Instead of like ISOC Nigeria chapter, we're starting to say, let us open maybe a workspace that we can invite people to come and learn. So we could identify those learning places and look at partnering with them to train some people. And we can now maybe call for, place a call for people that are interested, for them to enroll for those trainings. So we need to ensure that those people are available for that period, not that we put in our resources to get them trained and they don't complete that training. So after we identify people that are interested to join the training, so you could go to, why we have to work with the hubs that in communities it's your community. Let's say we're reaching out to a place, a hub in maybe Ibadan, or we're a place like maybe Warri or something, or maybe Uyo. So that is, they're already conversant with the location, so they don't have to leave where they are to another location for this training. So that's why we have to like try to work with the hubs that are already in that community. And after we get them to join a training there, we can now look at them working in groups, so that they can be tasked with building projects, or maybe come up with a solution to one of the problems you think we should have a solution for. And they can now like have experience of building something in that process. After the training, they can now be placed at maybe different companies for like majorly for internship. I know companies that could like take people for internship. So our major role will now be majorly to provide support. It could be financial support. It could also be recommendation, and so that they can like get to have that experience. So I'm not focusing on only software like writing code alone, the aspect of networking or maybe project management or any of those. So we can achieve that if we're able to work with tech hubs that are in that location. So that's what I think we can do about getting started in the grassroots.
All right, thank you so much, Mercy. You mentioned a lot of things. Thank you for the hub, talking and working with hub idea. And thank you for also mentioning that people helped you to grow. That's very refreshing. I know it's like for you, like paying it forward, and you feel like, yes, I owe it to give back. Thank you very much. Okay, so Madam Daramola, from your own experience, what can we begin to do? Knowing that you work in a school and a learning environment, what can we begin to do now, so that we can move from where we are and begin to start our journey towards where we need to be? Dr. Daramola, please.
Thank you, Madam Chinwe. I will say that we should start to create awareness. It's very, very important. So all gender must know what we are talking about, and everybody must be ready to be involved. When everyone is involved, all will grow together and develop together. And that will take us to what Esther said the other time, capacity building. Capacity building is an essential thing. And part of the things that we can use for capacity building is what we have been talking about. Aside education in a school environment, all this learning community also, what can be done there is capacity building. And I know ISOC has been involved in that. There have been a number of trainings, and like we also mentioned there, this afternoon, is it afternoon already? It's afternoon. So we have a lot of programs for capacity building. Also, I think Elizabeth also mentioned it the other time, talking about mentorship. And those are the things that we are here for in the academic environment: create awareness, mentor people, encourage people to be part of learning communities that are available unto them, and then do a lot of capacity building. By doing that, we can collaborate and then network with people in the industry so that we can actually bridge the gap between the academic environment and the industry, just like Esther put it the other time. And I think the last speaker, I think is Mercy, mentioned something about value addition, which is very, very important. It is when you recognize the problems around you or challenges around you that needs solution. That is when you can innovate, create solutions that can add value to our environment. And that is part of what we do in awareness, in capacity building, and what the learning community can also assist in taking care of. So I would not want to repeat what others have said. Thank you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, so thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Wura. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Esther, Kioni. Thank you, Daramola. And to also all other speakers who had to drop off, thank you, Kelechi, for all the insights into all that we're doing. Yes, so I think that with this, we can safely say that to an extent, we have been able to shed light on why we need to bother one. It's inevitable for us to interact with technology with the way the world is going. Instead of just consuming tech and consuming tech. And it's interesting to note that people are beginning to give us via action, but our percentage is very low, right? If you go and like we're on, it's a personal drive now. Take personal that I, as an individual, as a woman, every year, even if it's that you mentor and you hold the person's hand, because honestly and quite frankly, some people just need somebody to hold their hand to say, follow me. I think I know the path, or I know the path, I've walked through it. And to that point, because people are at different levels. Somebody needs to hold somebody's hand. Somebody needs somebody to encourage them to say, you know what, you can do this. It is possible. And somebody also needs somebody to encourage them when they are having very low moments, because I know we are women. There are things that are peculiar to us, right? So sometimes it's not even about the academic work. It may be emotional, it may be psychological, it may be biological too. All of that comes to play. But for me, seeing a woman who has been able to do it gives me some form of encouragement to say, okay, so she did it. Why don't you talk with her and network with her? So people say that women don't support women. I don't believe that. And so I want to encourage everybody on this call. We also have men who support women, you know, who encourage. I know some instructors who have worked in training houses. Israel, like where I mentioned, he worked in the DigitALL Foundation for years, and we were just going about teaching women how to code. And it was very instrumental. And so today we also have men who are supporting us. So we are not anti-men, right? But what we're just saying is we want to just encourage more women to step up because we have something to offer. And so beyond just talking and talking, we have a lot of things to do. So we also want to encourage everybody on this call. If you have not joined Internet Society. Please join us. Is Juliet still on the call? Juliet is a person who was also doing amazing stuff, amazing work around tech. I don't know if you're still on the call. If you're on the call, you may want to say one or two things. Juliet is in space and she does a lot of stuff around that she has called. But thank you so much, everyone, for being on this call. Please join ISOC. We have dropped our link in the chat. Join ISOC Global and of course also ISOC Nigeria chapter. We have a lot of things coming up for ISOC Nigeria chapter. We have a lot of also benefits as a member, much more than even the benefits. You have a lot to contribute. So ISOC Nigeria is a platform for you to also make your contributions and make your contributions so that another woman, not just even another woman, can be helped. So thank you. We're not going to end the conversation here. We're not going to wait till next year when we'll have another International Women's Day together. We have been encouraged and we have been challenged to do a lot more work. So we will do all the work that we need to do so that we can move the next woman from just guessing and not knowing to being able to do some very serious work. ISOC for Nigeria is isoc.ng. Please join and so that you can also make a final words. I want to thank every panelist. And also, of course, the ISOC Learn platform is also a good platform. And you can learn for free from global leaders, right? From global leaders who are doing amazing stuff in the tech world, and the courses are free. So please take advantage of it and also learn. I want to thank everyone for being on this call. Again, thank you, Mr. Akimbo, for your support. Thank you, Esther Kioni, for just joining this call and for sharing what ISOC is doing. Schools, Tijani, and of course to our president, ISOC Nigeria, Mr. Caleb. Thank you everyone for being on this call. And thank you to everybody who joined this call. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and we wish everyone International Women's Day, but please don't stop, take it personal and begin to learn and also drag the next woman along and encourage her to say, you can do it. If I have done it, you also can do it. All right. So on behalf of everybody, I would like to say thank you. Like we said, it's 11 to 12:30, so we don't want to take extra time. So thank you very much. We will reach out to us with emails of other information that we need to send to everybody. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. And bye for now. From Priscilla, you don't have anything to say.
Thank you, everyone. Bye for now. Thank you to all our panelists. Thank you to everyone that has joined. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.